My name is Christabel Balfour. I'm an artist and tapestry weaver based in the east of England, and I've been weaving full-time now for about 10 years, on different looms of various shapes and sizes. This is the story of my first floor loom. My first floor loom was made by J. Barrow at Harris Looms and completed on the 29th of April 1976. I know that because J. Barrow left a little note to that effect, hidden under the plaque on the beater right here. Harris Looms were a British company established in 1939, who finally closed their doors in 2022. The previous owner bought this loom from them in 1976 for £256.50, which is about £1,700 in today's money. I didn't pay that much. I bought this loom in 2015 for the grand total of £10. You see, by the time this loom came to be advertised for sale online, it was in a bad way. The previous owner had woven on it happily for about 10 years before downsizing to a smaller house with less space for her hobby. By 2015, the loom had been sitting in a garage gathering dust and rust for about 30 years. Harris Looms no longer made looms of this size. There were no images of this type of loom online, let alone assembly instructions. Anyone who took this loom on would have to clean it, restore it, and somehow work out how to put it back together. In the autumn of 2015, I had just turned 24. I wanted a floor loom, but I couldn't afford one that was in better condition. So I took a chance on this one. On a grey day at the end of October, my father and I drove down to Suffolk in Kent to pick up this loom. I paid the owner £10 to cover the cost of her online listing, and we loaded up various grimy lengths of wood and rusted shards of metal, and took half the castle off in order to fit it into the boot. At home, I laid out all the parts on newspaper on my bedroom floor. There were a bewildering array of parts, and I was only 90% sure of what 50% of them were for. Nevertheless, I got to work. I cleaned all the wooden parts with soapy water, and soaked the metal parts in vinegar to loosen the rust. I scrubbed hundreds of metal heddles clean, and in my spare time I scoured the internet for loom diagrams and videos that might help me put the pieces together. It took me almost a year, but in the summer of 2016 this loom was up and running. I'd figured out how to wind on the warp, thread it through the heddles in the shafts and the reed in the beater, and connect all of it together with the treadles below. At this early stage I was still figuring out what I wanted to weave, and how. I didn't know it then, but this would be a journey spanning the next decade, and it's still going. I'm at something of a crossroads in my career right now. I'm trying to push myself to make the work I've always dreamed of making, to get out of my comfort zone and stop worrying about whether things will sell or not. And I suppose this YouTube channel is really a form of accountability. In pushing myself to make these videos each month, I'm creating space to reflect on what it is that I'm actually doing in the studio all day. But right now I find myself back where it all began, with my first loom, the loom that really started my weaving career. This was the loom that taught me to think in ends per inch and set counts in shed sizes, that taught me when to pay attention and go slowly, and when to throw caution to the wind. This loom taught me that with enough patient work, determination and WD-40, I really can do anything I set my mind to. And working on this loom, I learned that I might not get where I want to go straight away, but the important thing is to keep trying until I do.